20, 20. It's a number that lives in the attic of baseball's record book, gathering dust, untouched for decades at a time. A number so absurd, so impossibly large, that for 90 plus years of professional baseball, no one had ever reached it in a 9 inning game. Walter Johnson never did. Bob Feller never did. Sandy Koufax with that curveball that fell off the table. He never did. Nolan Ryan, the Ryan Express himself, the all-time strikeout king, threw 7 no-hitters in his career and never punched out 20 men in 9 innings. 20 was Roger Clemens twice, April of 1986 against the Mariners, September of 1996 against the Tigers. 2 starts 10 years apart, the only 2 times in modern baseball history a pitcher had reached that summit in a regulation game. And then came May 6, 1998, a gray, drizzly Wednesday afternoon at Wrigley Field. First pitch, 1:20 in the afternoon. 15,758 souls in the ballpark. A sleepy midweek crowd, most of them probably skipping work, none of them having any idea what they were about to witness. The Houston Astros came to town with the best record in the National League. Craig Biggio, Derek Bell, Jeff Bagwell, Moises Alou. A lineup that could mash, a lineup that finished the season with 98 wins, the toughest out in the National League top to bottom. On the mound for the Cubs, a 20-year-old kid from Grand Prairie, Texas, making the 5th start of his major league career. 6'5", lean, with a fastball that touched 98 and a curveball, oh that curveball, that scouts had been writing love letters about since he was in high school. His name was Kerry Wood. And in 2 hours and 19 minutes, he was going to walk off that mound a legend. He started the game the way he meant to finish. Craig Biggio led off the game. Future Hall of Famer. 3,000 career hits, strikeout swinging. Derek Bell, the cleanup quality bat, strikeout swinging. Jeff Bagwell, the reigning MVP runner-up, one of the most feared right-handed hitters in the game, Hall of Famer. Strikeout looking. 3 up, 3 down, 3 Ks. Wood had announced himself. In the 2nd inning, he struck out Jack Howell. He struck out Moises Alou. Dave Clark mercifully flied out to center field to end the inning, and somewhere in the press box you could feel a pencil hovering over a scorecard, somebody starting to count. The 3rd inning is where the only blemish appeared. Ricky Gutierrez, the Astros shortstop, hit a hard ground ball deep in the hole between short and third. Cubs third baseman Kevin Ory got a glove on it. The official scorer ruled it a single. To this day, people argue about that play. Some say it should have been an error. Some say it was a clean base hit. What everyone agrees on is this: it was the only base runner Houston would earn the honest way all afternoon. Brad Ausmus struck out Shane Reynolds. The opposing pitcher sacrificed, and then Wood balked Gutierrez to third. The only real mistake he'd make all day before getting Biggio on a ground out to escape. In the 4th inning, he struck out Bagwell again. He struck out Howell again. He flied out a guy in between, almost as a courtesy. 5th inning, Moises Alou, strikeout looking. Dave Clark, strikeout looking. Ricky Gutierrez, the only Astro with a hit on the day, strikeout looking. 3 up, 3 down, 3 Ks. All called third strikes. The umpire, Jerry Meals, was punching them out with feeling. Houston batters were walking back to the dugout, shaking their heads, helmets in hand, looking like men who had just had something explained to them they didn't quite understand. Through 5 innings, 11 strikeouts. The Cubs scratched out a run in the 2nd on a Mark Grace double and a sacrifice fly. They'd add another in the 8th on a Mickey Morandini single and a Jose Hernandez groundout. 2-0. That was the offense. That was all Wood was going to get. That was all Wood was going to need, because in the 6th he struck out Shane Reynolds. In the 7th, and this is where it started getting biblical, Bagwell, Howell, and Alou, 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts, 15. The 8th inning, Dave Clark, strikeout swinging. Ricky Gutierrez, strikeout swinging. Brad Ausmus, strikeout looking. 3 up, 3 down, 3 more Ks, 18. He had tied the rookie record held by Bill Gullickson. He had passed the National League record of 19 held by Tom Seaver, by Steve Carlton, by Dave Cohn when he got his 19th strikeout to start the 9th inning. Bill Spears, pinch hitting for the pitcher, swung through strike 3, 19. Craig Biggio leading off the inning the same way. He led off the game. Biggio battled, fouled off some pitches, and grounded weakly to short. The crowd groaned. The crowd had wanted the strikeout. 20 was right there, but Derek Bell was standing on the on-deck circle. Derek Bell, who had already struck out twice, and on a one-ball, two-strike pitch, a slider breaking away, Derek Bell swung and missed. 20. The catcher, Sandy Martinez, sprinted out to the mound. The Cubs poured out of the dugout, and Kerry Wood, 20 years old and the fifth start of his major league career, had just tied the all-time record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. 1 hit, no walks, no runs, 20 strikeouts, a game score of 105, the highest single pitching score ever recorded, a number that, like the 20 itself, may never be broken. Folks, you live long enough around this game, you start to understand that perfection is not the same thing as transcendence. There have been 20-something perfect games in Major League history, each one its own kind of beautiful. But what Kerry Wood did on May 6, 1998, against the best lineup in the league on a damp afternoon at Wrigley Field at the age of 20, that wasn't perfection. That was something stranger, something closer to a thunderstorm. 20 strikeouts, the greatest single pitching performance the game has ever seen. His arm would betray him before too long. Tommy John surgery the following spring, years of injuries. He'd pitched 14 years in the majors, made 2 All-Star teams. Never quite became the pitcher we all thought he'd be that gray Wednesday in Chicago. But for 2 hours and 19 minutes on May 6, 1998, Kerry Wood was every pitcher who ever lived, and he was better than any of them who had ever been. I'm Mr. Baseball. Thanks for spending some time with me on another Dates with Destiny. I'll see you tomorrow.